I'm reading the instructions on the wall of the library for how to use their new... they've got 2 mics now. They got the Snowball and there's like one of the shotgun single-person ones.
Huh.
The instruction says, place Rode shotgun mic directly to mouth. Select red button to record. Do I eat it?
Do it. A shotgun mic
Kiss it?
shouldn't be that close to you.
Yeah, the whole point of shotgun mics is you can kind of put them overhead, a few feet away.
Yeah, that's
They don't know
like a
anything
distance.
about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They bought this off of Amazon and we're like,
Oh, definitely.
oh.
These stands, very Amazon quality.
Yeah, it's such a shame because they brought such nice soundproof booths, and then it would just be nice if they had more than one microphone for podcasting, so you could have each person have an okay microphone and have a mixing board. But
sure. I would love a live mixing board because mixing multiple recordings in post sucks.
Yeah, yes, it would be great, but I think they're just trying to make it as easy for as many people, and that can somehow make it harder for other people.
I just wouldn't mind a stand that isn't constantly clinking around.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Earthquake.
Maybe a table that doesn't make... Why is a table on wheels? Maybe a table with no wheels.
Or if we
Chairs with no
put the
wheels?
wheels off of movement mode.
Yeah, that's still
Oh
pretty
no, that
bad.
was on movement mode. I don't know. Or maybe off. I don't know. Maybe the brake doesn't work.
As a former library employee, I can confidently say most of the furniture in there sucks.
Don't worry, they're buying new chairs. Again.
Already?
Yeah. There's a little survey they have on the 2nd floor, and they have a table with 4 different models of chair, and they're and they've covered the table in paper so you can write what you think about the chairs.
Huh.
I tried them all. They all kind of suck.
Well, before I go out to St. Louis and go to the horse races, I'm gonna call up my old boss from the library and get his advice, because he's big into horse
races?
racing. Yeah.
Why?
What else are you gonna do in St. Louis?
Now the real question is, what are you going to do in Boise? Thought so. Got 'em. Owned.
Got 'em. And that's what we're talking about today. Boise, Idaho. Welcome to the internet, live from the Marriott Library at the University of Utah and a decreasingly dank basement somewhere in the Logan metropolitan area. This is the Red Line Podcast. Oh, I did that all in one breath. I'm your host, regrettably from Boise, Dunstan, and these are my co-hosts.
Kyle, quote, why do so many people keep moving from Boise to Salt Lake? You'll find out soon. Close quote, Holland, and...
Alex, quote, Logan is slowly killing me, unquote, Fielder. Today we're returning to the transit-challenged hometown of host number 1, Boise, Idaho. Just why is it so hard for them to succeed where other red state capitals have, and what's their path forward? All this after the news.
Did you like Transit Challenged?
Yeah, that's a very polite way of putting it. A very, very polite way of putting it. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
The T. No, not...
The MBTA Silver Line mentions...
No, not the one that we always talk about when it breaks here. The other one. The weird light rail subway in Pittsburgh is getting a $150 million refresh starting this week. The project promises to increase track and infrastructure quality as well as speeds on some parts of the system. Work is expected to continue through the end of the decade. Hopefully, this will mean a better start for one of the country's truly classic light rail systems.
Yeah, how old is their, track and tunnel and everything?
The tunnel is new. A lot of the track is, from the 1800s, so...
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I'm sure that the ties have been replaced since then and such, but...
Yeah, but, still.
So is this a new retracking, or is this kind of strategic retracking and then, leveling out the rails?
All of those things.
Okay. I can live with that.
Which brings us to the show. Kyle, make the noise.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Do.
We're not even going to talk about the Northwestern extension.
No, it doesn't matter.
All right.
It's only hypothetical.
All right, so this is Boise episode number 2 out of 7, give or take.
Well, until they build a light metro system like I want them to, this is Boise episode 1 or 2 of innumerable. So, suck it up, is what I'm saying. You get me, boss?
Yeah, I, boy, see what you did there.
I, boy, see what you did there.
That was the worst comeback I've heard all day.
Oh, yeah, baby. So, Alex, ask the question.
The question for this episode is, why are we talking about this again? And why Boise?
Correct. And I would remind all viewers to be a pain in the ass, it is pronounced Boise, not Boise. Boise is not a place. And if you say it, I will torture you and burn you at the stake.
Is Boise a place?
Allegedly.
Okay. Just clearing that up.
I have been told that it may in fact be a place.
All right, so answer the question. Why are we talking about Boise today?
We are talking about Boise again today, almost 50 episodes, more than 50 episodes later. I think episode 23 was Boise. We're talking about Boise today because they have redesigned their entire bus system with better frequency on routes and a massive consolidation of service. Essentially, it's going to be a whole new system.
So, fewer higher frequency routes and less of those real jank coverage routes?
Oh yeah, I mean, we have two pictures that are going to show on the screen before you. One of them is the old map, which is about 40 different colors and, a lot of weird squiggly routes in Boise, right?
Yeah.
Versus the new one, which is 3 colors, appears to be inspired by the UTA color scheme, but we won't say that. And less squiggles, quite a few less squiggles, actually, I would say.
That's good. So how many routes are they having on the new versus the old?
I don't know exactly, but there are less, trademark.
All right.
And there's, instead of 2 sort of frequent routes, there are now 3 sort of frequent routes.
Whoa.
I know. As you can see, the 3, the 9, and the 7 will all be, quote, frequent, unquote, which means 15-minute peak service and 30-minute off-peak service. So, whatever. No comments there, okay.
I kind of want to see the inset for downtown Boise, but I'm assuming they don't have that yet.
They do not have an inset. I looked.
Okay, because downtown Boise on the old map, the buses kind of just go, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Literally everywhere.
I hope we can share this map, but if we can, I would encourage people to look it up, because it is truly terrible.
It's just so... I mean, I've ridden the system above, and I have this map in my room, actually. And it's a mess. Most routes don't go anywhere. And
the ones that do don't go in a straight line because you really just want to be twirling around and making all these off-route stops.
Well, because everybody has to be within
2 feet.
2 feet of bus, yeah, otherwise they won't ride it. Even though it only comes every hour.
It looks like they knocked over green ink and then just said, this works. And then that's how they determine the on-demand service.
Yeah, no, the on-demand service map is something.
Well, they've actually improved that as well, except now it's just a big square.
Okay, that's a lot more comprehensible, trying to figure out whether or not you're in the square.
Instead of a weird series of green circles.
Yeah, that's like they had a bunch of just points on the map, and they were like, let's just draw a 50-foot buffer around all of these, and they called it good.
Right, and don't you like how the other on-demand route doesn't really connect to anything?
Yeah, the one in Eagle. What? What if you want to go into Boise? It doesn't even go.
I think it goes to the Saxton Park and Ride, which means you can get a frequent connection on the 9, but that's basically it.
Oh, I can see the little circle around just the Park and Ride.
And also there's one at the Village at Meridian, which is a giant shopping mall, and another random spot. So,
yeah, I don't know about that there on-demand service area.
A little interesting, isn't it? Also, I love how it just goes slightly south of the road in 2 places.
Oh my goodness. On-demand, am I right? All right, so what's good and what's bad and what's ugly about this redesign?
So, good things. Frequency is key, and they finally figured that out. This proposal upgrades service on key corridors while removing a lot of strange system redundancies that are holdovers from an older period of bus planning. Terrible span of service stays the same, however, this can't really change given the extremely limited number of bus hours that VRT is working with.
They are literally running off a shoestring.
Oh, very much a shoestring. Like $20 million a year, maybe.
If that.
If it's a good year, yeah.
Yeah. So
Also, the signage is much better.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You want the UTA's been showing this off pretty well. You want the bus poles to not simply show existing riders which routes are there. You want them to be like advertisements for the bus system.
Right, and that's what this new kind of system, their new bus route proposal does, as opposed to the old sign, which was
a picture of a bus.
Very, very tiny as well, I must say. Like, I've seen these signs in real life, and they're, like, hard to see from the road. So,
big sign.
Big improvement here. Very much TriMet inspired as well, so.
Yeah. Any particular things you'd like to point out on the map in terms of, like, routes they've eliminated or straightened out?
Number one improvement, in my opinion, is the 42, which is kind of the long blue inter-county route.
Yeah.
That has historically, as you can see, it's changed routing to be on kind of the main corridor of Canyon County, so it's going to provide local trips a lot better. And also, it has been increased to hourly service all day instead of its kind of inconsistent every 2 hours, sometimes every hour service that it had before. So it's going to be, an actually functional connection between Nampa and Caldwell and Boise and Meridian and such.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more useful. I can see on the old map, there's the on-demand area around central Nampa, and the 40 goes through there, and the 42 just goes, like, around.
Right, and the 40 was a 3 buses per direction per day express route.
And I can still see that on there.
However, it has been improved and also goes all the way to Caldwell now. So,
wow.
Yeah, basically also another thing that has improved a lot in this map is express service from Canyon County to Ada County, which is where Boise is. There's going to be like 10 buses during peak hours per direction.
Wow.
So I know.
That's more.
I know. Like hourly service in both directions at peak on our express routes. Isn't this a huge improvement?
It's something.
It is something, all right. Yeah, also obviously the 7, if you look at the 7 in its previous state, it was the 7B and the 7A.
How do those work? Are they like a loop?
Oh, it's cursed. Let me look it up real quick.
Transit app. Viewers, if you have like
because
the premium transit app, follow along.
I do have the premium transit app.
Yeah, I know you have the premium transit app.
Okay, so the 7A and 7B are maybe the most cursed bus route I've ever seen, right? So, at the top of the hour from, let's say at the top of the hour from the downtown bus terminal, which as we've discussed before,
very nice,
is quite cool, and a subway and stuff. So, you have at 4:15 a 7B, which is a direct shot to the Town Square Mall Transit Center, right?
Okay.
And then at 4:30, so that's at 4:15. Then at 4:30, you have another 7B.
What about the 7A?
Which is a direct shot to the Town Square Mall Transit Center. Then at 4:45, you have a 7A, which is the one that does a weird loop and then goes to the transit center. And then you have nothing for a half hour.
That sounds that could not be any more inconsistent.
It's entirely cursed and weird and useless.
So, how's the new one?
The new one will just be a
one route?
15 to 30 minute service, direct shot to Town Square Mall Transit Center.
All right.
So, very much
a lot
an
more
improvement.
simple.
Yeah, and it looks like that weird squiggle out the top is now covered by the 21.
Maybe. No, I think that's higher than that. That gets a part that the 12 was covering previously.
Oh, okay.
Or no. I don't know what it's covering. It's covering something.
So we mentioned the shoestring budget, and you were just checking the schedule with the transit app. I don't take it they have their own app?
They do. It's just bad.
Okay. That makes sense.
Common problem.
It's really easy to make an app. It's really hard to make a good app.
Yeah.
I think would be the...
Yeah, let somebody
the
else make
heuristic
transit
for
app for
that.
you.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to look at something. Yeah. And so the idea is, so they are at about 80% of ridership, and they have been since last year. They're no longer growing because, as it turns out, it's really hard to get people to come back to such a terrible service. No offense to VRT. Like, y'all are doing good work, and the CEO is kind of the real deal. Elaine Clegg is her name. Like, she seems to be, like, really on top of things. But they're kind of plateaued at 3,732 riders a day, which is 80% of pre-pandemic ridership. And so the idea is with the big redesign, they can actually get more ridership out of the same service hours by offering a better service.
Yeah, that's fair. That's nice.
It's also a service with less coverage, though. So,
Bro, it would be nice if they got more than $20 million a year in operating funds.
yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, also, 2022, 56.4% of their operating funds are just coming from the feds.
Correct.
Like, is taxes that hard?
Well, and 35, the other funding sources are 35% from cities, which is almost exclusively Boise, and
The pittance of fair
8.7
revenue.
Yes, and 8.7% from fair revenue.
So maybe if the state of Idaho would fund the system...
Or, I don't know, allow them to explore their own funding sources, like a sales tax
Yeah,
or
are
something.
local option sales taxes even allowed?
They are illegal in the state of Idaho.
Bruh.
I mean,
Bruh.
hey, at least it isn't like Indiana where they've made bus lanes illegal. In Indianapolis only.
Don't give him ideas.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
true.
just a brief moratorium until we can study the effects of bus lanes on motor vehicle traffic.
No, it's not. You want to ban bus lanes.
But car.
So basically, in a nutshell, oh, and also we'll talk about something else here in a minute. Basically, in a nutshell, more buses where people are actually riding them with better route planning and better signage. And as we discussed, the inter-county service is much, much better than it was before.
Yeah, and just squinting at the map overall, the reduction...
Like, I might actually be able to, like, reasonably bike from my parents' house to the bus now.
And then go into Boise.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Bike and ride much. Now, if only they had green bike except Boise.
Well, they did.
They did?
For a while before the pandemic.
Why'd they get rid of it?
The pandemic.
I thought more people
It was a
went
pilot
outside.
project.
I thought more people went outside in the pandemic.
But more people didn't go to work.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, if you go to the Grove Plaza, which is kind of the nice pedestrian square at the center of downtown Boise, there's still a green bike station there, just kind of sitting empty.
That's sad.
A little depressing, yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, okay, let's go back to the map for a minute, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that there are two new buses in Caldwell, the 56 and 58.
New bus routes?
I know. Well, these were meant to be kind of, first of all, because the 42 doesn't go all the way to Caldwell. It stops at the Happy Day Transit Center.
Uh-huh.
So the 56 was meant to connect downtown Caldwell and the, College of Idaho to the 42.
Why didn't they just make the 42 go the whole way and run local for a bit?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
It's a fair thing, but... Oh, I lost my
Local
train of
service
thought.
in Caldwell.
The idea was being that you could connect Caldwell to the inter-county buses and have some local service, because Caldwell is a very, very impoverished, like that is the poor part of the valley, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So having, bus service would be economically beneficial, because, people living in Caldwell could go places without a car. Shocking.
Concepts.
But unfortunately, these two bus routes are not going to come into existence.
Why not? They're on the map.
VRT gets almost all of its funding from the federal government and local sources, with the other 10% being mostly filled up by fare revenue. To pay for those routes, Caldwell was supposed to allocate $645,000, which was planned for in their budget, instead of their previous budget of $345,000 to cover the operating cost of the two new routes.
Uh-huh.
It was voted down even after VRT presented a less costly option, with only one of the two bus routes, the 56.
They voted down having two buses?
Yeah, because $300,000 is too much money to throw at, this wasteful public transportation.
Was that the logic?
Yes.
Do they have the money, they just don't want a bus?
Yes. Because public transportation does not prove that there is demand for it.
Huh.
Because, there are no bus routes in Caldwell.
Yeah. Love measuring the demand for a bridge over a river by how many people are swimming through.
Uh-huh. So these are not going to happen, unfortunately. And personally, I think that's very, very unfortunate because those would have been, not superstar routes in terms of ridership because the 56 was meant to get half-hour service and the 58 was meant to get hourly service.
Yeah, but there's a huge difference between having no bus and having something.
Well, you can take the on-demand.
If you want to get somewhere late.
If you don't want to get, yeah. Well, and the thing about, I don't know, as is well known to viewers of this podcast, we are not pro on-demand on this podcast. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, we did a whole episode about how it just fails to be a functioning transit service.
Right.
Yeah, and how much more it costs per rider.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. So VRT can afford roughly 122,000 vehicle revenue miles per year.
Uh-huh. That's not very many.
As it currently stands, to provide these on-demand services, I don't know that paratransit is actually run by an entirely different agency in Boise.
And that's usually budgeted separately, isn't it?
Yes, but does not include paratransit. They are spending $41,000 or roughly like a third of their vehicle revenue hours
on demand.
On demand, and getting in return 1/10 of their ridership.
That's horrible.
So, not good.
Like, imagine the bus routes they could make with that extra budget.
Yeah. For context, it's like 4 times as much cost per passenger trip.
Yeah, and this is at that very low, relatively speaking, as far as transit systems go, low volume ridership that on-demand is supposed to theoretically be able to handle, and that buses are at their least efficient at.
Yeah, and the bus is still more efficient. So basically, I'm saying that they should get rid of the on-demand route in Boise, in Nampa-Caldwell area, and instead put a bus there.
Something reliable.
Because they're apparently spending a lot of money on it already. So, that's a little depressing. As we know, Boise, to succeed as a transit agency, it can't succeed in its current form. It has no pathway towards anything that would resemble success.
It has no money.
It has no money. It has no way to get more money unless Boise becomes extravagantly wealthy for some reason.
And even then, that's no way to run a regional transit system.
Right. So it's not a good situation. And like I said, the people who are running it clearly care, and the current CEO is the real deal.
Yeah, they're doing a great job off $20 million
with what they
a year.
have, but there just can't be any expectation of success until they get more money.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd love to see the current administration with, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times the budget. They'd fly.
I don't know. What I think we need for, because there, as we previously discussed, there isn't really a good advocacy group for transit in Boise. There are, a couple very small ones that aren't particularly powerful or influential. I think what we need is a very powerful transit advocacy group or lobby in Boise. And what those people need to do is take all of the weird city councilors from Caldwell and from Nampa and from Meridian and from Boise and from Kuna and wherever the heck else to Salt Lake City, buy them a nice hotel, and have them get around by transit for a couple of days and see, what is possible, and then try and do the same thing in Boise.
Yeah, because Salt Lake is, in terms of urban development demographics,
this is a
Boise
red state.
In the future.
This is future Boise here.
Yeah.
So you should, I don't know, that's my opinion. Somebody wealthy should give, a transit advocacy group in Boise, $20,000 to bring all the local dignitaries down to Salt Lake for a couple days and see what's possible.
Yeah.
And then they should build a light rail on the almost completely unused corridor that runs right down the middle of the valley and could very easily be sent into downtown Boise and thence to Micron. But, what would I know about that?
It's basically what Salt Lake did with our Olympics money.
Uh-huh. No Olympics money for Boise, unfortunately. Although Salt Lake had pretty good transit before the Olympics, because UTA has always been fairly decent.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's depressing. Every time I think about Boise, I get a little sad inside.
So how much is the highway budget annually? Do I want to know?
I don't.
None of
There's
us want
one
to know.
freeway, and it's horribly congested all the time.
Gee whiz, I wonder if there's a different mode of transportation that parallels that.
That could go the same speed as the freeway.
Yeah.
Or faster. And as we've discussed in the last episode, there's that, perfect, 1 mile grid through most of the area. So you could just easy feeder bus routes to your train, and you could get so much ridership. And there are communities of 40,000 people that just have no bus service currently, like Cuna, which is also another quite impoverished community. No bus service.
It's not very nice to tell them to just suck it up, find some money, and buy a car.
Yeah. So I'm very constantly depressed by the state of transit in Boise.
We'd be excited about it if they had money and we could follow all the cool things they could do with money.
Right. But instead, here we are talking about the depression one again. And I made this episode intentionally short because our last one was long.
Yeah.
This probably could have been a Patreon episode, but I feel like the people want to know about Boise.
The people do want to know about Boise.
They are getting a train.
They are? The Amtrak?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
We're 1,000% riding on it.
Oh, we'll ride the whole thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I wish it was going to exist when we have to go to, Seattle for Line 2 opening in 2025.
That would be so much easier than going to California in the middle.
I mean, not that I'm going to complain about a layover in San Francisco,
Yeah,
but,
terrible.
Well, I guess in Oakland, but the same thing. Yeah, that's our depressing episode for the day. I don't have anything else important to talk about.
Hey, maybe we'll catch some listeners from Boise area. So,
Yeah.
all Idahoans, feel free to reach out.
Learn to ride the bus. It's fine. I've ridden the Boise bus. It's fine.
Yeah. And hey, if you want to start an advocacy group, reach out. We'll try and put people together.
We know a guy.
Yeah, we know some people.
We know a guy.
And if
And
you
also-
want money, I know the people who are funding the 435 in Utah, the rural transit advocacy. I think they have a lot of money. They're from the east, so maybe,
So
maybe
are we
look
getting
into
an
that.
evil Koch brothers style anti-transit thing, but for transit? Because I would, if I was a billionaire, that would be my pet project is an evil secret lobby to create transit advocacy.
The bus
everywhere.
Illuminati or
The bus
something?
Illuminati.
I don't
yeah.
think we're quite there in terms of funding
Well-
and resources.
Still,
Yeah, but
there's someone in New England that's been paying for this kind of advocacy out in the West. So
That's pretty cool. We could use it.
I think they should make me a billionaire for that purpose, because I would do cool things, right?
Biden's they, them billionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She, her billionaires.
Not just you.
They should give me I don't know,
They?
$5 billion. They,
The oil lobby.
presumably. You have to cut that part out. Yes.
And thank
the
you
oil
for
lobby.
listening to the Red Line. We'll see you next week.
No. They, as in I don't know, the Illuminati, the deep state, whoever, should give me $5 billion, because what I would do is I would buy the 2 giant parking lots in Salt Lake City and turn them into the best developments ever.
And thereby make more money.
And then I would put all the money I make from doing that into my transit advocacy trust, which would have headquarters in the Wells Fargo building, 1 Market Street, and I don't know, somewhere else as well. Just, think of your favorite office building. I would have one there as well.
So basically this is the 1800s, 1900s / Brightline model of doing transit funding, where you make a bunch of money off real estate and then you spend it on transit.
Yeah, except I'm not building transit. I'm spending a bunch of money on campaigns to improve
Which is like
transit.
a money multiplier there.
I mean, it might be if I can, build all of my developments next to the transit that is getting built.
Yeah.
Yes, you see my evil plan coming together. I don't know if it's evil. My
Plan.
lawful neutral plan come together.
At this point, yeah.
That's what the railroad companies did when they expanded west. They got all the
Yeah.
land next to the tracks and developed
Ah,
it.
so I start just buying up land next to unused railroad right-of-ways in the hope that they will be turned into into regional rail lines. And start buying up land next to future BART stations and things like that.
Hey, how about this? You buy up the land, I'll buy up the railroad, and then we can do a bit of cross-pollination. You can give me ridership, and I'll give you people to live there.
Big brain.
Wow, are we building
They should put us in charge of the government.
Are we
actually.
building a functioning transportation system over here?
We are, and like I said, they should put us in charge of the government. We would be really good at it.
They.
Yeah, the deep state.
The people who make Joe Biden's ice cream.
The deep state, the people who make Joe Biden's ice cream.
Whoever built the nuclear football.
Yeah, those guys.
This is a bloody episode.
It is a bloody episode. It's a good episode. It's a fun episode. It's a short episode because you have class. So.
Yeah, for in like 40 minutes.
Oh, well.
Good episode, though.
Okay, should we do patrons now?
Yeah, let's do patrons. They're loading.
I'm starving. I need to go home and eat.
Why don't you bring food with you on campus?
I don't have time.
You can eat in class.
I can't eat in class.
I've been in class
It is
since 9:30.
disallowed for me to eat in class.
Like, specifically?
Yes,
or just like nobody
in
else
the
is doing
syllabus.
it? That's stupid. In all of your classes?
Yes.
I'm
Eating
impressed because
class
I've been
is
in...
weird.
Yeah, fuck off. I've been in class since 9:30, and if I hadn't been eating in class, I probably would have passed out by now.
I keep all my food at home, so I don't take
Skill
it
issue.
Alex with his non-portable heavyweight food. All right, here's the patrons list.
Oh, okay. At
We
future...
gotta do the
I'm coming.
introduce the fact that we're thanking our patrons.
Oh, yeah. If you like what we do here, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, or follow and leave us a rating on iTunes and Spotify. If you really like what we do here, please consider becoming a member on Patreon. Patrons receive early access to all of our episodes, exclusive episodes, as well as occasional merch drops. Speaking of patrons, at Future Boise Light Rail tier, we have Zach Adams, $69.69 per month. At Future Boise Commuter Rail tier, we have Generic GT, $35 a month. At
Future Boise 10-minute bus
Future
tier.
Boise 10-minute, yeah, that's at this point. At Future Boise 10-minute bus tier, we have Curtis Herring, Devin Zander, McKay Ransom, Mike Christensen, Phobos2390, and Tony Stuntza.
At Amtrak from Salt Lake to Boise and beyond tier, we have Brian Smith, Christopher Whaley, DJ,
Hi, Will.
Watkins, Elijah Kensler, G4, Jacob Whitecotton, Jesse Mayo, Reluctant LA Resident, Robert P. Walsh. And Robert P. Walsh.
okay. And at VRT tier, if Caldwell actually paid money, we have Alex Dykowski, Alice MYOB, Ben Busath, Bradley Bondi, Ethan McDonald, Evelyn, Gavin Gorigot, Gonzo12, Jack Mikowski, Martin Hecker Martinez, Matt Gray, Oliver, Sam Myers, Seth Skylewowski, sorry guys, Zach Fristott, oh, and that's that.
And at VRT in its current form tier, we have Benjamin Wood, Joshua S. Horvath, and Kapil.
Hey, they have green buses now, so
They
that
do
fits
have
'cause
green
it's the
buses
green line
now.
tier.
Yeah, it's the green line tier.
Yeah.
They have 3 green buses now.
The MVTA Green Line mentioned
Die.